recording. All right, sorry, go on.
Do you know of any red flags, topics that we should be sensitive to in relationship to the judges? Everyone might, I've just had this experience where people might have like specific topics that are triggering to them based on personal experience or maybe like political viewpoints. Is there anything that we should be cautious of going into this with your knowledge of who the judges are?
I'm looking at the judges right now. Like I said, I don't know many of them except for one. And I can't think of anything of that judge that would be offensive to her or him.
Yeah.
Or any of them. Today, I don't know the others that well. But no, I think they're, well, at least my understanding is, and I'll double check for Vincent Rose, but no. Like,
What's their age range?
I don't know. Because I only know one of them. I don't know the others at all.
I'm trying to get as much like data.
Yeah, I don't know the others that well at all. Like, okay. I can tell you the one I know. The one that I know, she's not elderly.
She's not?
She's not.
Okay.
That's all I can tell you in terms of age range.
Oh, I want to know so bad.
Yeah, I know. Let's see. But yeah, I emphasize again once more. Very, 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 very important for you guys to just make sure your presentation is strong. Your content's solid. I think we've worked on content enough to know that you guys are saying something substantial. I'm not worried about your content anymore. What I want you guys to focus, and you guys are already pretty good at this, that you can just keep on getting better, but engage, present, and time yourselves. I think there's only 4 of you guys yesterday went overtime just by a few seconds, which is not bad at all. And everyone answered their Q&A within time, which was amazing, awesome, but well done. But a few of your platforms were just a little over time, and again, that's your choice. If shaping a few points are okay, but my take on it is that you can save yourself a few points, then you should do that, because again, the top 5 positions in MAG always are literally determined by 10th of points. Okay, so like that 1 second over can mean the difference between Miss Asian Globe, Miss America, or Miss Asian America, Miss First Princess, or Third Princess and no title. That could be that different. So I would not advise going over a second. Like, seriously, I won't. Okay. Great pep talk, right? Yes.
It's getting so real.
Soon.
Yeah, like I said, go back tonight, time yourselves, and shave off. Try to my best is shave off to 55 seconds. Seriously, trust me on this. That's the safest number you can have. All right. Okay. What other questions, and whatever questions you want to answer before we start doing what you guys want to do tonight?
Do you happen to have notes on our sound and video quality, perhaps?
So on a video, I've messaged out certain delegates that I thought really needed attention. So like for Chu Ting, I told her, hey, please listen to your part here. It's a little bit echoey. And so I'm trying to set up a time for her so I can work with her video and her audio. I told Lily that her sound was a little bit echoey. Not bad, that there was just a little bit of an echo there that was a little distracting. And also for V, for whatever reason, her microphone didn't kick in until like about 10 seconds into her talk. And then all of a sudden it turned up sensitivity. But before that, it was almost as if she was talking in the next room. And so, right? And so we need to do all these tests with you guys the day prior to the 15th, but also probably the day after the 15th. You need to double check and make sure that you guys are in the best position. Try to sit as close, or either move your router, or your Wi-Fi router, as freaking close to you as possible, right? And to tell your family, your boyfriend, or whoever, do not walk over here and trip over the wires, right? Tape it down, whatever. But like move it as close there, and have it a direct connection or direct line of sight with your device. Or if you're savvy enough to have a direct connection there with the Ethernet, then do that. That you just really want to minimize any type of a Wi-Fi obstruction. And of course, during your time, tell your flatmates or your family, whatever, please do not go on the internet and bandwidth from me. Like that's what happened with oh, Diamond's coming in. That's what happened with Sydney when she was meeting with you guys for the first time in the first workshop. So her mom was like downloading movies. So it just wiped out her Wi-Fi bandwidth altogether. So hi Diamond, welcome. We are talking about just sound quality right now. But everyone right now seems good. And I think what may be a case is that sometimes if there's too many people on Zoom, like at the workshops where there's like 27 plus of us, then that could sometimes interfere. But we're minimizing it to, let me see, how many people are we gonna have in here? 1, 2. Okay, we should be fine with the judges. So what's gonna, at least the way I see it is, I hope this doesn't make a difference. There are gonna be 2 rooms. You guys remember how it was with the staff interview, right? Like as soon as you came in, I popped you guys into the waiting room. And then when it came your time, I popped you out of the waiting room and put you into the staff room for the 7-minute interview. Remember that? You guys all went through that, right? Okay, so it's gonna be just like that for the judges. There should be at least 10 to 15 of you guys in the waiting room, and then the judges, which is between 7 to 9 of them, myself and Christo and you. So there should be 10 to 11 or 12, and as long as Zoom doesn't anticipate like both rooms at the same time, then 12 should be fine for sound quality. I hope Zoom doesn't like allocate bandwidth to the 15 of you guys waiting in a waiting room. I hope it doesn't, or at least not with the channel that I'm working in. So if it's just 12 of us in a room, which is all the judges, one of you, myself, and Christo, then there should be very minimal interference between Zoom and your audio, okay? But we will check all your audios the morning of, like at the reaction video. Actually, Diamond's be doing her reaction video on a Friday just because otherwise she'll be getting at 5 in the morning on Saturday to join it, which is not desirable. So we're just gonna do yours early, Diamond. And you're gonna be kind of the guinea pig for us to make sure that we do everything right with your sisters the next morning.
Sweet.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's everyone like planning on doing? Like just like.
We're also gonna try to ask what's her name, Melanie. We're trying to ask Melanie Warhana to try to give us a sample of what we're looking for to share with you guys.
Okay, because I'm really struggling coming up with something. Like I'm like the worst actor, so I feel like we're all gonna default to the oh my god, no way.
and then the 22nd.
Trying not to look.
Yeah, I don't even know. I gotta still talk with Rose how she wanted like 2 reactions from you guys, one of winning a princess and one winning a queen. I personally think that's a little bit even more complicated than just getting a reaction out of you guys in the first place. So I'm gonna let Christo manage that with Rose and see if we're gonna do that. But I hope we can just at least get one good reaction out of you guys. We're probably gonna do like, I don't know, between 1 to 5 takes for each of you guys, depending on how long it takes to get at least one good reaction.
Francis.
Yes.
I have a question. Why can't we do the reaction live?
Because we're afraid that, and we've seen this in a lot of live pageants, when people are all logging in there watching it, and also when there's too many people like having to like also make sure that they're on there, we've seen too many of situations where they're like, and the winner is, and either that person drops off or she freezes, which is the most fucking anticlimactic thing that could happen. And we've seen it happen where they're like, oh, and this is the new Miss Philippines, and she's like frozen. And they're like, what do you have to say? And she's like, and they're like, okay, well, I guess she's thrilled beyond belief. And then she's literally, and then she doesn't come back online until they're like, and so thank you, good night, and we'll see you next year. And then she's like, oh my God. Yeah, we just do not want that. Like the most important part of the entire pageant is announcing the winners. That shit can't happen.
Yeah.
So that's why, and when we were talking about it, at first I was like, that sounds so crazy to do. But then I'm like, you know what? For safety, for insurance, and for making sure that we have minimal bandwidth. So there's only going to be 2 bandwidths being used for the live stream. It's going to be the live MC, which is going to be Kim Huynh, the other Kim Huynh from 2018, I think, right? Yes. So there's another Kim Huynh, 2018, a MAG delegate. She's going to be MCing, and then there'll be the crew in the back just basically doing the, okay, clip 1, okay, cue, clip 2, all right, cue, clip 3. So there's only 2 bands going on in the entire bandwidth. So that should minimize any kind of disruption of like frozen frames or any drop-offs or bad sound or anything like that. So we're only going to risk 2 bandwidths. The MC, who's live, and the reason why we want her live is just so that she can acknowledge people who are signing off and commenting, saying, "Oh, okay, hi there, Rose. I see you. Good to see you, Rose." And oh, okay, let's say hi. There's Sydney. So she can acknowledge all the like the little comments coming. So it looks like it's actually live, which it will be for her at least. But that's it. No one else is going to be on camera. Oh, Vincent and Rose will be on camera for like the first 2 minutes just to say welcome, and then we turn them off, and they're gone. And so it's going to be just Kim and the clips that we fire off based on her cues. That's it. And that way we have absolute control over what shoots off next. What shoots off next. We don't have to worry about, is she online? Is she ready? Did we lose her? Why is she frozen? I can't hear shit from her. Like that kind of stuff that we can see, right? And we even see that stuff on the Zoom. So if we see it on the Zoom, I don't want to risk that with the live stream. So that's why I need you guys to be, I want to thank all the little people in my life type of thing. With a little thank you speech. Yeah, work on your thank you speech. Otherwise, we're going to have you guys there doing it 5 times over again. Okay.
Is there a reason why we're, I guess, not doing it live in front of
We
the
were
max?
trying to do the whole thing live, and then we kept on watching other pageants, and time after time, unless they pre-recorded it and had everything signed out, time and again, there were sections that were dropped or frozen. Like they're like, okay, this like comes on, and then either she's frozen or she's gone or she's like jagged coming on, right? And so we're like, you know what? We just want to keep it where
I prefer it this way. I like it this way, that it's pre-recorded.
Yeah, it's a very different section.
I guess like instead of like, how about us recording it and then like we submit it?
Oh no. I asked them that too, and they're like, nope, I don't, because what they're afraid of is like, nope, this is not good. Nope, this is not good. Have it here. Nope, that's not. They're just like, no, we're just gonna have them right in front of us, and we're gonna have them keep on doing in front of us until we get it right.
Honestly, that makes sense. Any broadcast, they would hate to rely on last-minute key parts to be broadcasted, so it makes sense.
Yeah, they just want everything done ahead of time. They want to be able to give you instant feedback and say, nope, that's too hammy. Nope, that's too stiff. Nope, you stuttered. Nope, I don't believe it.
What if we we do this obviously, but like on the side have everyone like record their reactions? Because I think it'd be so cute to see the queen's like actual live reaction. Like we don't have to share with the public, but like with everybody else.
Oh yeah, yeah. Like on a night, you mean on a night of when you guys all find out?
Yeah, like if
that's fine.
Guys, I want to give you like a little nugget. You should record yourself doing something like for your friends, because if you do win, you will not be dressed the same way as you're presenting on the screen. So like if you win, you'll have to you might want to post something on social media. So that day also like maybe take a photo or something. Have some like collateral that you can use.
No way, pajamas for life.
Pajamas on the 29th. So yeah.
Yeah, well, we're gonna test it with Diamond first, and we'll learn from her what to give instructions for you guys on the Saturday following. I'm personally excited for that because I want to see how you guys act on this file. We've never done this in my entire life, so I find it's gonna be very amusing.
You know, technically, it will be my Saturday.
Right word.
Yeah, I'll be on right the whole time. turn on my camera.
That is definitely.
I'll turn off my sound. Come back like, I'm sorry, I had to take another phone call. But yeah, just try your best to get yourself in that mindset. And like, you know, like Crystal suggested, go watch some Miss America and Miss Universes, watch when they won. And channel that. And if you if you need to put some, like, you know, eye drops in your eyes, make it all teary.
But then it would ruin our makeup for judges interview.
That is your call if you want to take that extra step or not. I personally think that's go above and beyond. But if you want to put some you know, this lean in there, then yeah, go for it. And then be like, oh my God, you know, whatever you want.
Because I think in real life I would actually like cry, like
Oh,
knowing.
yeah.
You're crying?
But like in real life, like yeah, cry so easily. But I can't record that. Like I'm not Gina Sue. We're not actresses.
You could also just, like, right before it, go cut some onions up. Just kind of like went up there and then come back. All right, Crystal, quick, before the onions go. And then just be like, and she'll be like, oh my God, you're so convincing. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, it'll be fun. We're really interested in seeing how this fit. But like I said, Diamond's gonna be our first guinea pig, so I am super looking forward to see how that plays out on Friday night.
I will trailblaze for all of you.
America learning from Australia. Let's see.
I was saying it's technically my Saturday as well, so I mean.
That's right, it's your Saturday. All right, well, that's Saturday for you on our Friday. That's right. All right. It's still Saturday. Cool. All right. Any other questions about the preparation for the next 5 days? No? Did you guys want to have a meeting? I don't know if they put that poll up there on the group yet or not, but did you guys want to have a meeting between the 15th and the 22nd sometime with the staff to do any kind of review?
I think all the practice is excellent, so I would.
Like an actual workshop type of meeting?
I think it would be beneficial.
Okay.
I really appreciate having the different staff members' opinions and message us privately in the chat box.
I will. I'll double check and see if they put that up there yet or not. If not, I'll start a poll as well. Okay, cool. All right, so you guys good? Anything else before we decide what to do next?
And if possible, for that meeting in between, if like past like contestants / queens could come and give their input, that would be really helpful.
Okay.
If they can.
Yeah, I found Gina Sue's commentary on how she basically researched for the pageant, how she dealt with it, and how she felt during her Q&A was really reassuring. Good.
Yeah. I hope you guys, or some of you guys have at least gone out there and reached out to some past queens to say hi, introduce yourself, and talk to them. They're very accessible. They're super nice. They're super sweet. And as long as you ask them questions, they're happy to help out. Okay. Let's see, what else? Anything else from you guys? No? Okay. Then what do you guys want to work on? Interviews, since that's coming up literally in 5 days? Or do you guys want to do some more Q&A like we did? I don't have the board that Crystal has, which I thought was very, very cool, by the way. Did you guys like that board?
Yeah.
I loved it.
Yeah, I thought that was
Sarah, you picked number 8. I always pick number 8.
I know. I was like waiting. I was like, no one's picking it. It's the lucky Chinese number. We have to.
I know. I was like, as soon as you went, I was like, oh, that little turd.
But then you picked 22, so I was like, okay, I see it.
22 is my default.
I just choose it because it's my age.
I can see that. Very cool. All right. So we have a pretty good size group today. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right. So interviews or Q&A or platform stuff? What do you guys want to do?
Interview.
Okay. Probably a smart choice considering that it's coming up.
Yes.
Okay. So let's, where's my salad? Do you guys want to do the full 10 minutes each person to get the full effect? Or do you guys want to reduce it just to get?
How many people are in here?
7 of us.
2, 3. That'd be 70 minutes.
Probably like 80 with buffer.
Yeah.
Maybe we could do like 5 to 7 minutes.
Okay,
Cut it down just a little bit.
let's go down to 5 minutes.
Let's
Sound
average.
right?
Let's do 6.
Nice. That's yeah, that'll be just over an hour then.
Okay, cool.
So,
Let me get the little timer ready here too. So just keep in your mind that this is just a 6-minute practice. This is not. Don't make sure that this is a 10-minute thing for real life, but just 6 minutes for that. So look at used to the 6. So let me get into my second window so that I can have the timer window here.
I'd remind everyone that since it is just 6 minutes, don't try to change your about me story or background story to shorten it to fit 6 minutes. You're just cutting off question time in this practice round. So still try to practice your 3-minute, 4-minute mark or whatever we discussed last time, just as a reminder to everyone.
Yeah.
Francis, if they ask us a question like off the bat that is like not really close to tell me about yourself, but you kind of crafted being like, but let me first tell me about yourself, do you think they'd mind, or would they think it's kind of weird?
Well, give me an example of a question you think would be super hard for you to.
Like if they were like, what's your strengths and weaknesses?
Okay, so if they open
Bring
up
that back.
strengths and weaknesses, then let me see. I'm turning on my camera here too.
I think you could first say, well, let me give you some background on who I am to explain this. And then launch into your about me. And you'd say, from all of these life experiences, I would say my strongest, blah, 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 and my weakest, blah, 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 blah.
Okay. You don't think they'll mind that their like short question turned into a 3-minute introduction?
No, because they asked it.
Okay.
And we're gonna tell them that you can answer it any way you want to, and we can give them, like I said, we can give them 10 questions, but they can also ignore those questions completely.
Are they expecting this like 3-minute introduction from us? Like, do
Nope.
they know?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope, because they will know that there is a actually no, they're not. They don't. I don't think they know what to expect from you guys. Actually, you guys can just pop in, and there's going to be. I think if this is anything like it is in the past, the first 2 to 3, which is essentially Marissa, V, and Kimberly, are going to set the tone for what they start getting used to. So the first 2 and 3 girls are going to be basically the ones that okay, all right, I think I get how this works now.
Yeah, they're definitely going to notice the, I see. So they tell us a bit about themselves, and then they go on to the interview question.
No matter what we ask them to tell us about ourselves. Let me ask this. What flavor chocolate do you like? Let me tell you a bit about myself first.
That's a really interesting question. Let me tell you why I feel this way.
Exactly. Where did you come from today? Let me tell you about that. Yeah. They're like, shit, no matter what we ask, we get this life story.
I think they pick it up the pattern.
Yeah, they're going to be like, what's your name? Let me tell you about how I got my name. And they're like, you know what? I'm not going to say anything. They're going to tell us about themselves. Watch this. How are you doing?
Let me tell you about how
Let me tell you how I'm feeling right now.
Yeah.
I'm glad you asked me about my life story.
I'm so glad you asked that question. This is how I'm doing right now.
They'll be like, what is my name? And it's like, well, let me tell you about how I learned your name.
How I got here to learn your name.
Jedi mind tricks.
They're going to be like, what the fuck? Why am I even here? Does it even matter who the first judge is?
I'm dead.
I think by the 5th one, they'll be like, all right, you know what? Fuck it. Just tell us about yourself.
Sounds good.
Okay, cool. All right. So we'll follow the order. Megan, that makes you number 5. I think you're the first one then, right? Over here? Yeah, I think you are the first one on the screen here. Can you hear okay?
Can we do head judge as well?
Yeah. Wait, was someone asked? Was Kim? Was you asking something?
I was going to ask a question. Are we asking the question to Megan?
Yeah, you guys are playing the judge.
Got it. Okay.
Right, so you guys are all playing a judge, and this is about the right amount. This is like 6 judges-ish. I'm gonna be one of the judges, but each one of you guys is gonna play a part of like the head judge, and if you want to, try stomping her with the first question, head judge, to see how you can make her not answer. Tell me about yourself, and she has to somehow twist it back around. Okay? That way you guys can be very creative in how you can share your story no matter what's thrown at you guys. Okay? All right, so Megan, you're number one. We're gonna have 6 minutes, and let's make Olivia the head judge for this session, okay? All right, ready? And go.
Hi, Megan. We're
Hello.
looking forward to meeting you. Can you tell us a little bit about where you grew up?
Yes, definitely. I am a Bay Area from El Cerrito, and before I let you know about my community, let me tell you about how I came to be and how I grew up to be who I am today. So ever since I was young, I've always been interested in art and science. I love creating things with my hands, and I was also fascinated by how things work, both mechanically and biologically. This set my interest in design, engineering, and medicine, and when I went off to college, I was so torn between choosing a career path. After talking with mentors, family, and friends, I eventually decided to study mechanical engineering and minor in biomedical engineering, and had the goal of working in the medical device field to improve healthcare. After I graduated spring of 2019, I landed my first full-time job as a research and development engineer at a medical device startup in Santa Rosa. On my day-to-day, not only do I get to improve healthcare, but I actually get to work on designing a medical device implant that goes into the heart to treat blood regurgitation. I really want to somehow incorporate my creative side into my daily life, and I'm so grateful to have the opportunity to do so with designing and engineering. I feel like it's not every day that an engineer gets to work on designing a non-commercialized, first-generation product basically from scratch, and that's my full-time job. I can go on and on about my job, but I am much more than just an engineer. I am someone who strives for improvement, both for myself and the community. I aim to be constantly learning and gaining new skills, both personally and professionally. Personally, I've been trying to pick up new hobbies, such as making clay earrings, doing pottery, and designing on Illustrator. I also love eating baked goods, so I've been trying to improve my baking skills, especially during quarantine. I also grew up dancing, and I've been trying to get back into it by learning choreography online. My desire to try new things and better myself also played a part in joining Miss Asia Global. I did a pageant about 4 to 5 years ago, and I had an amazing experience meeting all the other girls and going to community events. Since then, throughout college, I've always had the thought of doing another pageant. And Miss Asian Global has always been on the radar because I'm so inspired by all the amazing and talented people and women I see involved in MAG. And I also believe MAG does an amazing job at representing inner and outer beauty. Now, my goal is to inspire more women to go into engineering. I noticed the clear lack of female representation among my peers, both when I was in college and now in the workforce. And I think it's very important for the gender gap to diminish, to bring new perspectives into the industry and diversify the workforce to better innovation, especially in a booming era of technology today. Just like how I've been so inspired by others in MAG, I want to inspire others, and that is why I'm here today.
Thank you, Megan. We are looking for someone who's going to take action in their year of reign. If you were Miss Asian Global, how would you inspire young girls to enter into STEM?
Definitely. So I think when I was choosing a major in mechanical engineering, I definitely looked towards my peers and looked what they were doing. And I feel like growing up, the media really portrays engineering as a male-dominated field. So I feel like to do so, I would really help and go to like organizations like the Girl Scouts and really show them and maybe help out with the events and show them that engineering can be really fun and that it's not just for males but also for females as well.
Would any of the judges like to ask Megan a question?
You can call on them, Olivia, as the head judge.
Okay, Land, would you like to ask Megan a question?
Sure. So STEM, the acronym for STEM, obviously I'm sure you're aware of. What would you say is the hardest aspect to enter as a female out of, science, technology, engineering, and math?
I feel like the STEM field overall is pretty hard. I wouldn't really single out any any one sector of the 4 different aspects of STEM, because they do all have their challenges and the pros and cons. So I definitely feel like if we really inspire like any female to go into any sector of STEM, then I think hopefully in the future more females would really go into these different fields, and hopefully we could really increase the amount of females in both like the overall STEM field.
Judge Diamond?
Yes, Megan. So it sounds like you really want to inspire young women in the field, but my question to you is, who has been your biggest inspiration? Who was your role model?
So my biggest role model in STEM is Debbie Sterling. She's the CEO and founder of Goldie Blocks, which is a toy that is for young women and really showcases that toys for little girls aren't just, you know, Barbies and pink things. You can also build these cool little things, and this will hopefully inspire more women to go into engineering. And I saw one of her TED Talks, and it was really inspiring how she told her life story from, you know, when she went to college, and then how she had all these hurdles just that she faced while as a female engineer at the time, because she was only one of a few females among her peers. She couldn't really quite get her product out because they would kind of just overlook her and overlook the product that she was building.
And I'm sorry, that's all the time we have.
Sorry.
So please remember to keep an eye on your timer. Otherwise you will get cut off. Okay, but otherwise, before I jump into it, Olivia, I got a message from Aranthi. She told me to tell you, please tag us on your Love is a Cure video. Sydney is waiting on it so that she can share it.
Okay, well, I may or may not do this while I'm not a head judge. Okay, sure, we'll do that.
Okay, cool. But feedback for Megan.
I think, I have feedback.
Mm-hmm. Yes, Kathy?
So I think the intro when Olivia asked you the question, you went into yourself and talking about yourself, which is good, but I don't think you really, maybe I missed it, but I don't think you answered the question that she asked, because I was waiting for that, but I don't think you really answered that question. You went more into yourself, which was great, but I think as a judge and as somebody who asked a specific question, I would want to know the answer to it. So I was like waiting on it, and then I wasn't quite sure if you answered it. So
that is a good point, and I need to go and listen to the recording again. But just because they ask you something and you can twist it back into tell me about yourself doesn't mean to ignore the first question either. Tie it back in there, right? Tell them about yourself, but also say, and so where I'm from, the Bay Area, has a huge impact and huge influence on my wanting to be in STEM, because I'm surrounded by all these innovators. And I feel like as a woman, this is something that is also my responsibility to not just practice this, but also promote this within an equal representation of genders, within, especially in the valley where innovation comes from, this hub of creation. Right? So don't ignore the first question, tie it back with your tell me about yourself. Good thing to point out, Kathy. Anyone else? I'm
kind of surprised that you didn't mention STEAM as well, because like so much of STEM is changing, and in also like it's including arts as well. I would have loved that, or even maybe something like when I asked the question around like what's your how are you going to inspire people, like a really concrete thing. Like for example, you could say, I'm supporting the hashtag campaign, I am a scientist, and sharing stories and pictures of people who look like me in STEM so girls can see themselves represented in this, you know, thing. So something like really, really concrete, and just kind of also, it was an opportunity to get straight to the point of like how that would be the thing that you do once you become one of the title holders. And I would have loved that. Maybe next time.
Okay, I'll keep that in mind.
Yeah,
thanks.
Thank you, Olivia. Anyone else with any feedback from Megan?
I have feedback.
Yes, Kim?
We want to.
Oh, I'm hearing noise. Okay, I think my main feedback I get this from, I guess, other people who interviewed me as well. I liked your answer, but I also think it's kind of rehearsed in that sense. Like, yes, you were hitting like the target points of everything, but there's some emotion in there. There's some like enthusiasm. There's some like flair in there. Like, I think it's really nice to listen to like what you're saying, but there are like nonverbal cues that I would like love to see.
Cool.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Kim. Good feedback. Anyone else for feedback from Megan? Yes?
Some feedback. I think okay, so it's 10 minutes, right? And I think there will be plenty of opportunities to tell your story. Like so many, like just like any other situation, like the first question you're able to twist. The next judge who comes in and asks you the second question, you can also twist that if you missed some of that in the beginning. I think like being so, obviously you want to be able to structure the interview and definitely put all the main points in the first question. But I think like if we emphasize too much that you have to say it all in the first like 3 minutes or whatever, it almost seems really unauthentic because, you know, the question was, you know, tell me where you came or like, you know, where you live or where you came from or whatever. And it spewed into like this whole like orchestrated, you know, like your intentions to go in and this is what you're going to say and that's what it was going to be no matter what was said. So just having a little bit of flexibility in knowing that you can always twist the second or third question into saying, you know, the other half of your bio or whatever is one technique to do it. Because I don't know, for me, like when you went on, you know, 3 minutes into it, I was just like, if I was a judge, I would be like, I don't know. I don't think it would sit well with me. I would just kind of be like, okay, like, you know what I mean? Like I'm trying to like get to like ask you this question and it just kind of like sprung out to like this whole thing about like why MAG and like how you went into pageants and all of this stuff. So I think you still have the opportunity to like still say all of those things throughout. If you have like the mindset that you can twist any question, it doesn't always have to be all in on the first question.
Yeah, that's a good point. You can actually even lay the seeds for the other half of your answer and be like, you know, lead up to it, and maybe when the judge is like, can you tell me more about that you just mentioned there? And you're like, of course, happy to. And then that becomes your second part of your answer. So once you master, like you're telling me about yourself, you can break it up into any way you want in your mind. But always remember, like, even though we're training you how to twist the answer, you need to make sure you do answer the question. Like, just link it with your tell me about yourself now, but do answer the question. And if you're like, okay, there's some parts here that maybe I want to save for the second or third question, but I'm going to like plant a little seed here for them to follow up with me on it. Like, oh, and I had this amazing mentor or this amazing role model that's inspired me for life, and don't tell them who it is. And one of them might be like, can you tell us who that role model is? Of course, this is who I was inspired by. So you kind of set yourself up for at least 2-3 questions down the line. Right? Cool. All right, any other feedback from Megan? By the way, great job, Megan. You're in great shape. All this feedback is just going to make you stronger in the interview. Any more?
Thanks for taking one for the team. I think all of us might have made that exact, you know, like done it in the exact same direction. So thank you for
all this right now. You want to make all your mistakes here in the safe place so that you're at your best on Saturday. Actually, Saturday, yes. Right. This is where you make all your mistakes and regroup and get your A game on. Okay. Any more? Or do we go on to our next delegate? And Olivia, I assume that you've already tagged them, right? Tagged Mag in your Love the Cure thing.
I'm actually just about to post it on Instagram right now.
Okay, perfect.
Bring it between my computers. So like in the next, literally like the 5 minutes, unless I'm next to go in the interview.
You're technically next, but I can jump over to Lan and then come back to you.
Yeah, I guess they are really waiting on this. So
yeah. Okay, yeah, go ahead. Yeah, because Sydney's been bugging me. I'm all like, I'll tell her. Okay, Lan, let's jump over to you. And then let's make Megan head judge. Okay, Megan? And then here's a timer. Okay, so as soon as you ask the first question, Megan, I'm gonna hit the timer.
Hello, Lan. How are you doing?
Great. And yourself?
I'm good. Thank you for asking. So how did you come about joining Miss Asian Global?
Oh my goodness, so many reasons, so many amazing reasons. But honestly, I feel like to really give you a comprehensive reason as to why I chose to join MAG in its virtual first year, I have to just kind of give you a little glimpse where my headspace was when I decided to join. So first and foremost, I think what really, drove me to join MAG was all about women empowerment, and the fact that it was about being virtual this year and about women adaptability and resilience and overcoming these hardships that we're all facing in the world today. That was one thing that really drove me to the virtual pageant of MAG this year. And I think that really embodies everything that I've tried to do my entire life, and is to represent women in the most positive light. I've been in higher education for 10 years of my life, actually. And I think throughout that entire process, I've been so conformed to being in the system and being academically driven, almost to a point where, I hit a point in my life where I was like, I have to embody everything that I preach. And that's where I am right now. So I'm in the process of starting 2 companies. I'm super excited about it. One of them is a coffee brand business where I really try to represent everything about the Vietnamese culture, and I make sure that Vietnamese people benefit from every step of the supply chain and the transaction. And the second company is an eco-friendly toiletry company where I try to really change how people consume products, especially plastic, in a lot of our products, and how that contributes to the plastic waste in our ecosystem. So the reason why I joined MAG on is to really use this platform to really showcase everything that I'm passionate about and everything that I believe in. And I feel like at this point in my life, it's the perfect time, because more than anything, after going through all of my years of higher education, I finally had, the self-confidence and the self-esteem to really embody everything that MAG represents. And that's, the resilience and the empowerment. And I hope to contribute that and share that with the rest of my sisters, and as a role model for all women all around. So thank you for that question.
Judge Diamond, do you have any questions to ask?
Yes. So you said that you've just now started to gain the confidence to do this. I want to know what your message to other young women would be for them to gain their self-confidence to go out and reach their goals.
I think everyone has the confidence in them. They just have to activate it. And I think that comes with time and the stage that they are in their life. For me, it took 10 years of higher education, 2 years of being a pharmacist to really understand that, I have the tools, I have the self-confidence in me. I just need to find where it is and be bold enough to take a bet on myself and take a bet on my dreams. And that's where I'm at. I believe, everyone has it in them, and it's the trials and tribulations that they go through in life to really be able to decide when is the best time. And sometimes there's really not the best time. It's just taking a leap of faith and seeing where that takes you. And sometimes that in and of itself is a win.
Judge Tara, any questions?
Yeah, so if you were to get the title of Miss Asian Global, what would you do in the next 2 years?
Honestly, it's everything that I'm kind of doing now. Like I said, with or without the crown, I see myself embodying who I am, and I hope to share that with everyone. So with the crown, absolutely the platform is definitely there. And, just having that, the crown and going through this entire experience will definitely help me in the process. But in 2 years, I hope to continue doing what I'm doing now and what I'm learning. And that's just to be the example that I hope to be for other people. And that's to be a strong, independent woman and go fearlessly and unapologetically towards your dreams. And while you're going about it, to do it with confidence, just to believe that you do have what it takes.
Judge Kathy, do you have a question for Lan?
Lan, what inspired you to start a coffee business or a coffee company?
Well, I want to say, besides the fact that I'm a huge coffee fanatic and probably drink it 10 times a day, I even drink it to calm down at night, actually. It does, at this point, it's just in my bloodstream. But besides just being a huge coffee fanatic, what I recognize in a lot of brands these days is, Vietnamese coffee is actually, Vietnam in and of itself is the second exporter in the world, right behind Brazil. But a lot of people just don't recognize it, and Vietnam doesn't get the recognition that it deserves. And so I'm seeing that this is a new craze that's going on, is Vietnamese coffee, and every kind of brand has its own version, but Vietnamese people aren't benefiting from that transaction. They're not, really having the recognition that they need, and therefore they're missing opportunities. So for me, on top of being a huge coffee fanatic and just wanting to always do something that I was creatively challenged, I just thought this was the perfect opportunity, and just to believe in myself and go after something that, one, I'm a huge fan of coffee, and two, I finally feel that it's the right time for Vietnam to have its place on an international stage.
Do you have anything else to tell us, Lan?
With the 10 seconds that I have, I honestly just have to say this has been such an amazing experience. I've never done something like this, but I am loving every bit of it.
Perfect timing. Good job. Well done. Any feedback for Lan?
Yeah, I'll start. I liked how, like, almost casually you were talking. It made it feel like it was a conversation, and like you were just like chatting with us, telling us about your life. I think my only feedback was like maybe you said like a couple too many times, just because I could like count it, but it definitely added to the like casual ambiance. So I did like appreciate your energy and like how it felt like it was a conversation, more so like you're like in an interview kind of scary situation.
Yes, Diamond.
As the interviewer, I felt that I was getting the answer that I wanted in a very appropriate way, and I felt that everyone else's questions were also getting their answers, and I felt like you did a really good job at showcasing how you would use this platform further, not just on the questions about the platform. Like, you really showed your personality and who you were, and that type of characteristics that I think the judges would look for in a mag queen. So I thought that was really good. I thought the way that you've answered all of your questions were really good.
Great. Any more feedback for Lan?
I have some feedback.
Yes, Kim?
I loved your answer. It just made me want to like listen, because you left like, little trailing things, and we just want to know more and more about you. It was so engaging. Great job.
Excellent. Any more feedback for Lan?
My favorite part was when you made the connection to helping Vietnamese people really gain the recognition they deserve, because I think that really fits into being a spokesperson for Asian Americans and just Asian culture in general. There was something that I picked up on, which is when you get asked a question in the first 0.5 seconds, you have sort of this reaction that I'm not sure how to label it, but it's a little distracting. And I think you're almost like laughing to yourself about what the question is, because maybe you know the answer, but it's sort of, I think if you maybe pause and then start without that reaction, it's a lot smoother into your story.
Diamond?
Yeah, thanks for saying that, Olivia. That reminded me, in the beginning, it wasn't just the laugh. I think you have a lot of filler words as well right before you start into your tale. So you were saying, yeah, of course, I'd love to tell you about this, and let me start to tell you, like there was a lot of filling in that space, which I agree with Olivia, could be a little bit distracting.
You can watch that on recording and kind of gauge that by yourself, right? Excellent. Any more feedback for Lan? No? Good? Excellent. I don't have any feedback, Lan. I thought it was a great job. And you can only keep improving from here. Okay? Good job. Actually, we need to go to Kim, because Kim's number 3. I didn't even realize. You didn't say anything, Kim, when I was jumped to number 5. You're just all quiet. And I'm all like, wait, Kim is number 3. Why didn't you say anything?
No, I'm very nervous. I've been so anxious very recently, and I've been trying to ground myself down. So just
I can't think of a better way to ground you than in the middle of an interview with all your sisters. So let's ground you right now, okay?
Deep breaths.
Okay. Yeah, this is only going to make it easier for you on Saturday, okay? Can't believe you didn't say anything.
Yeah,
Right.
there's a lot I should say, but I just no, not right now.
So let's see. We had. Why don't we have Lan? Why don't you be the head judge, Lan?
Perfect.
Okay, so you're putting Kim on the spot as delegate for 6 minutes. As soon as you start asking a question, I'll hit the timer.
Hi, Kim. How are you?
Hey, Lan. I am kind of anxious, but I'm super pumped.
Well, I'm super excited to hear about you. Tell me, what's your favorite food and why?
Thanks. All right, so my favorite food is actually pho, but let me give you a little bit backstory to that because pho is such a great comforting food. So the backstory is I was born and raised in LA, the 626, which is the best food area in my opinion. And I recently moved to San Jose, which is also a really great food area in my opinion. And when I moved to San Jose, I went there and did my master's in public health. And during this time, I really reflected on my passions and what I wanted to contribute to the world. And I made the connection that I just really want to work in mental health. But public health and mental health don't necessarily fit in that sense. And for me, when I was reflecting on this, I was reflecting on my life to see where I'm at. And a really big trauma came out of my abusive relationship several years ago that I just never healed. And from that stemmed my depression and my anxiety that I tried to manage like years after years, and realizing that me being depressed and me being anxious also related to the Asian American community of feeling alone and feeling isolated. And it wasn't just the Asian American community, it was also the Vietnamese community. So where I draw the connection between pho and my passion, my life, and what I want to do is I think pho is such a great comfort food. It brings me back to my home, like the smell and the taste of it. And I wanted to bring that to my community, the Vietnamese community, where I wanted to sit down with them and have a discussion on mental health, on how we could break down the barriers and break down the stigma. So my favorite comfort food is pho.
I love that. Judge Kathy, do you have a question?
What inspired you to join this pageant this year?
Thank you, Judge Kathy. So the one thing that really inspired me was, to be honest, it was myself. It was the confidence that I wanted to build within myself. I think with having depression and anxiety, I struggled with my self-image, my confidence, how I felt about myself for so many years. And throughout my pageantry experience, MAG was always on the radar, and my beautiful mentor, Francis, has been trying to recruit me since 2017. And I've always said maybe yes or no, but yes, this year was the year that I felt most at peace with myself, the most confidence I felt in myself. And I really wanted to show and reflect to the world what I could do with my confidence and how that could portray it into MAG.
Judge Diamond?
So I heard you say that you had gotten out of a really abusive relationship. I wonder what advice you would give to young women or even young individuals who find themselves in a situation where their partner is abusive. What advice would you give to them?
Thank you, Judge Diamond. I think this is such a great question because this is something I've been working with my peers, with my friends and family. I think domestic violence and domestic abuse it's extremely common, but we just don't talk about it. And my one advice for anyone that is going through this is you are not alone. You may feel so isolated and you may feel so hurt and so damaged, but you are not alone. I am here for you. Your family will always be here for you and your friends will be. And I think the first thing to do is you just need to speak up and say something. Don't be silent, because the second you're silent is the feeling of alone and being in dread. But there's always a light, and your friends and your family and your community will always be here for you, even though you may not feel like it.
Judge Francis, do you have a question?
Sure. So what exactly do you feel like is the most important thing that needs to be done right now in addressing mental health issues in our community? What's the one thing that you would change if you could?
The one thing I could change about the mental health and the stigma behind it is the spread of knowledge. I wish everyone can just fully understand and have the resources and have the tool to access these resources and gain the full understanding of what mental health can do. I think to live a full and fulfilling life, you have to address every part of your health, and mental health is a great aspect that you as an individual need to address. And I wish everyone, all of our community members can just have a conversation and express how they feel, express their challenges and their struggles with each other, because that would bring us so much closer together to feel more compassionate and more empathetic with each other. And I think that is a great way that people can, break the stigma and can really just talk about mental health and to spread the knowledge on it.
Judge Tara, quick question.
How would you describe yourself in 3 words?
Oh, I love this question. I would describe me in 3 words as being honest, being empathetic, and also being very compassionate. I know empathetic and compassionate may sound the same, but it's not. So being honest, I love being honest with myself, with whoever I am. It just shows my true authenticity. Being empathetic is in the sense of feeling someone else's emotion and being surrounded with you judges eventually, or me with my sisters. I would feel all of the love and the warmth from them. And for compassionate is what I'm giving myself to others.
Perfect. Good job on keeping an eye on time. All right. Feedback for Kim.
I was super stoked. You came out just like guns blazing. Hey, I'm funny. I'm cool. I'm chill. This is not stressing me out whatsoever. That is the vibe you gave me in the first minute or so. I think this was another curveball with the question that you got asked like right at the beginning, because from the perspective of I was trying to like put myself in the perspective of the judge. I actually would have preferred if it was just answered really quickly and then you moved on to the second person's question, because there was sort of like this moment where I was like, are we talking about pho? Like, how did we get to mental health? And I was like, the framing of the question was lost. And then I tried to piece it together. Like, why is she talking about this? Okay, well, I'm sure she's going to tie it in at some point. And then we returned back to fun. I was like, no, this was just like a total tangent we didn't need to go down. So that was just the perspective of the judge. I think answer the question really quickly, then move on to the second. You can even say like, pho, next question. I'm here all night. You know what I mean? Like, just keep that energy going for sure. And I think even though we've been taught to, or we've been talking about like, get it back, steer the ship, go to your intro, there are certainly 2 situations we've just seen where that's really maybe not the right way to do it. Just like get through the next couple of judges. Awesome job. I loved it.
Yeah, I'll add on that. That's a really good point. You can totally, there's 2 strategies. You can just go straight pho and whatever. And maybe a slimmer down version of what you did, which is pho. And you can say, this is very relaxing. It's comfort food. I had a history of mental health, and pho always brought me around it. And then you're planting the seed for them to ask about mental health now, right? For the next question. So you can bring in that. But yeah, there's so many ways to play that on that role. But you did a great job. Maybe a little longer. But again, that's your choice if you want to do that. That's those 10 minutes are how you want to interact with the judges, but otherwise, yeah, great. Any more feedbacks for Kim? Diamond?
I just want to bounce off of that. If you feel like you're having difficulty basically getting your story out, it's really nice on the way that you give information. You can emphasize certain key points. So it's my comfort food for mental illness. And, you can start to show that you're really passionate about it, not just in what you say, but how you say it as well. And you might spark some of the judges' curiosity, like, oh, mental illness, like, what else have you got to say about that? Or how do you feel about this? You can really emphasize it on your body, because they can see you. They're not just listening, they can see you as well.
Any other feedback? Yep.
It's really good that we're practicing this, because if like, let's say we were so like determined to have, like, we already had a game plan and everything, like, to be able to like kind of practice this, and then if it comes, you get like a total random question from left field, you're not like just totally blinked out and don't know what to do. But I think overall, I mean, it was a huge curveball question, but I think the way that you attempted to answer it and like kind of bringing it back to the forefront of the question at the end, you definitely kept that, you know, you were cognizant of that, and you know, you answered the question while telling your story, but then bringing back why, you know, pho is your favorite food. So
Yeah.
that's good that you were still.
That was a good save on end. I'm glad you all brought it full circle back.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'd be like, oh, we lost it. But no, good to save it for end.
It was very hard. I was like, I don't know if I should answer or give a story.
You did both, which is great. Good job. Anyone else for feedback for Kim? No? Oh yes, Tara.
I just wanted to say your voice is so soothing. It's like so nice to listen to, and you did great. I'm glad we're all getting it out now, like for sure.
Thank you. I'm
Yeah.
glad that I'm practicing here, and this is not the actual interview.
That's right. That is what this is for. You make all your mistakes here and not at the interview on Saturday. That's what this is for. I don't know why you're nervous. I think you're in great shape, Kim. Just keep sharpening it, but I don't think you have anything to be nervous about.
Thanks,
Okay.
Francis. I just feel behind, but I'm working on it.
Why would you? Do you guys think she's behind?
No, not at all.
But if it makes you
yeah.
feel better, I feel too. So it doesn't like, I feel like everyone will always feel behind.
Oh, thank you. Oh, I'm going to cry. Oh, thank
Aw.
you.
We can feel behind together.
If you guys can all cry together on Saturday afterwards.
Probably will.
Okay. So yeah, you guys can all go back and have another separate Zoom call just to cry together.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we need a decompression moment.
Yes. You'll have your own little Zoom decompression call, and I don't even know about that. Okay. So if anything else for Kimmy? No? I thought you did great, Kim. Great job. Okay, let's jump back over to Olivia. You're number 6, Olivia. Are you ready?
I am ready. Yes.
Sweet. Okay. So Godzilla here is ready too. Excellent.
Okay.
All right. So Kim, we're gonna put you as head judge, which actually I'm gonna put Godzilla over here to the side and get the timer ready again. All right.
Do we get a timer?
6 minutes. All right. Okay. Now, Kim, there you are. All right, Kim. As soon as you ask the first question, I'll start the time.
Okay, sounds good. Hi, Olivia. How are you today?
I'm well. Hi, Kim. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. So, if you could be any milk tea or boba, what would you be?
I have gotten boba every day in the last week, so it really talks to how much I love boba. And I've specifically gotten this brown sugar tea with taro, and I would get it again in a heartbeat.
All right, that's awesome. Great choice. Okay, so why did you join MAG?
That's a great question. I joined MAG because for the last 10 years of my life, I have been working in social impact. And the cause that I care most about is homelessness, because I have a friend who's still homeless. He's a homeless veteran that's living in New York City on the streets, and he's the most vulnerable when it comes to COVID. He still has shrapnel in his body from serving 2 tours in Afghanistan and Iraq, and no access to healthcare. And the reason why I'm also really passionate about this, and no one really knows, is because my brother was homeless. He was homeless before he built his company, and at the time, even my parents didn't know. So it was a secret that I kept, and it always really impacted me. So what I want to do is I want to take all of my experience in the last 10 years of having built organizations, having really led at the forefront of a lot of social causes, take that experience and then parlay it into my year of reign. So as Miss Asian Global or Miss Asian America, if I had the opportunity to be either, which would be amazing, I would specifically work on humanizing homelessness in San Francisco, which is my hometown. And specifically, I'm already an ambassador of an organization. I have been working with them for 5 years. I love this organization. It's called Miracle Messages. And the very simple thing that I can get anyone to do is volunteer, because right now there's a program called Miracle Friends where you can be anywhere in the world and you can volunteer maybe 30 minutes of your time or even an hour a week to being someone's virtual buddy. So you get paired through this system with someone who is experiencing homelessness during COVID, and you can literally be someone's lifeline. And I know from having met Tito, my really good friend in New York, the one thing he said he always wished people did was just stop to say hello. So that's my goal, and hopefully I'll be able to do it with your help if you do choose me to be moving forward in this competition.
Thanks, Olivia.
I'm sorry for the sirens. I live right next to a hospital. There's good and bad, obviously.
No worries. I can't hear it.
Great.
So you were talking about how you wanted to work with like the homelessness within San Francisco. Do you feel that is a conflict, given the sense that you are not in San Francisco right now, and I believe you were in Vancouver at the moment?
Well, thank you for asking. I travel back to San Francisco almost every month. I have a company that is based in San Francisco. However, I just live abroad. I have a fully remote team, which means I can work from anywhere in the world, but my parents still live in San Francisco, and I have a family home there. So my goal is actually to do very well in this pageant, so it will give me the opportunity and excuse to go home and see my parents more than just once a month. And also, obviously, work on the front lines for homelessness.
Thank you, Olivia. Judges, do we have any questions? Judge Diamond.
Hi, Olivia. I might just throw you a curveball. What advice would you give to individuals who want to start up their own company?
The first thing is, don't tell anyone about it. Go test it out. I run an innovation consultancy. I've trained over 1,000 entrepreneurs, early stage founders, seed stage founders, at growth stage founders. And the one thing that you really want to do is you want to get in front of your customer and ask them what they think. That is the most important, not your mom's opinion, not your friend, your boss's, your investor's opinion. The person whose opinion matters most is the person you're serving. So that's the first thing. The second thing is ask why it works or doesn't work. Get really concrete about the reason and the motivation behind why someone would want to use your product or your service. Let me give you a quick story in the 1 minute that I have. I tried to help a homeless person when I was 22 years old. I put together a duffel bag of all of the things I thought this person could use: socks, Tylenol, I don't know, books, gift cards. And I found this person that I have seen my entire life, and I tracked him down in San Francisco. I walked up to him. I was like, hey, I made this for you. Like, would you like it? And he was like, no. And it was my first experience of being rejected. And in entrepreneurship, you will face rejection so many times, but that's okay, as long as you stop and ask why. I never got to ask that person why, and that's probably the reason for me wanting to focus so much on homelessness now, because I really regretted that I didn't understand the population when I was 22. But now that I'm 29, I'm a lot wiser, so I get to use all the skills that I've developed around human-centered design to really make an impact.
Thanks, Olivia. You have about 30 seconds left. Is there anything else you would like us to know?
Yes, I come from a family of entrepreneurs. It's in my blood. My grandpa and my family grew up in a very poor village in China. They immigrated here, and I'm here to break stereotypes and be a queen who is, one, career-driven, but also driven by a higher purpose. And I want to be a role model for other people to see that there's a new type of queen, and she's in town.
Great job. Wonderful, good job on keeping an eye on the time. All right, feedback for Olivia.
Oh, good.
Any feedback for Olivia?
My internet cut out when I asked you my question, so I didn't get to hear your answer. That sucks. But I thought you did a really good job introducing your mission statement and what really drove you to get behind what your mission is right now. I did come back on for the last little bit of your answer to my question, and I like how your example and everything tied it back to what you stand for. Even though I asked you about your company, it didn't really have to do with your mission. I really liked how you ended up tying that back together.
Cool, great. Thank you so much. Any more feedback for Olivia?
I definitely noticed a theme. Overall, great job. You always do a great job. I definitely noticed a theme just out of my experience working with you. And, I feel like I don't know what the approach is, but it's very clear. And it was mentioned a few times that, definitely want the crown to homelessness. And I think you just have so much more to kind of tell and show. I mean, you are a serial entrepreneur, you faced failure, you did nonprofits, you traveled all over the world, impacted a lot of people. It kind of just seemed like, you were kind of focused on like those two, like not two things, mainly like just embodying kind of a lot of your answers around one main theme. I don't know if that's a good or bad thing. I'm just saying, like, I just because I know you and we've practiced a lot together, I feel like you have a really cool story. So just being able to tell all of that, I think that would be to your advantage. But I don't know what strategy you're going for, but either way, I thought it was great.
Great feedback. Thank you. Tara?
Sorry. My little sister talked to me right then. Yeah, I kind of just want to echo what Lan said, because I really like that you definitely have this like zoned in like homelessness tackling like thing, and I feel like that's really great for like the platform and or like mentioning it a couple times in the judges interview. But I was like kind of sad you didn't mention like all those amazing things you've done in the past, because it really makes you like stand out, and just like it just adds. And like I feel like the judges interview is like the perfect time for you to like elaborate on yourself, because like your platform is like so crystal clear in like platform section / like in the beginning when you first mention it, like so clear that like I like have to just agree with Lan. I like wish we like learned more and like more elaborated on like all the many things that you like, the multifaceted parts of yourself.
Excellent. Thank you.
I never got a chance to ask you about Syria. That's
Yeah,
what I wanted to
I was
ask you
thinking too.
last time.
Syria.
The very, very last time.
Yeah, that would have been a great thing to bring up too. I was thinking whether you bring up, maybe it's because when you had 6 minutes, I don't know. But yeah, Syria is a great thing to bring up if you can find a way to get it in there. Any other feedback for Olivia? Yeah, Kim?
I always think Olivia just does such a great job. Like, besides what everyone else is echoing, 10 out of 10 as always.
Excellent. Awesome. Great job. Okay. Now, I don't have any feedback, Olivia. Great job. Would have loved to hear some Syria in there, but then only had 6 minutes, so we probably would have gotten to it anyways.
What was the first question? I don't even remember.
The question was boba, right?
If you were boba or milk tea, what would you be?
Yeah.
What was the second question?
Why did you join MAG?
Ah, I see. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Thanks.
Yeah, it's hard to put Syria into the boba thing. Yeah. Okay. So let's jump over to Kara. You're up. Number 13. Lucky number 13.
Woo!
All right. So let's see. Olivia. Oh, wait, no, you were. But you already been head judge, right? Okay. Let's get Kathy. Kathy, you want to be head judge?
Okay.
Okay, Kathy, your head judge. We'll put R2D2 over the side. Oh, by the way, this is a 1977 original Kenner's action figure R2D2 that was actually made in 1977 when the movie first came out.
Wow.
So, all these little things for you guys, they have little significance. Okay. All right. Kathy, as soon as you ask Tara the first question, I start the timer.
Hi, Tara. How are you?
I'm good. How are you, Kathy?
I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. So my question is, tell me something unique about yourself.
Yeah, so I don't know if you can tell, but I'm not fully Chinese. I am half Chinese, half Irish American. And although there are many beautiful Hapas, including Diamond, in this pageant, I think being a Hapa is very unique because Hapa, which is a Hawaiian-derived term, stands for being half Asian. And so being half Asian and being half Caucasian has really given me multiple perspectives of life. I've been able to come at problems in different ways, but that my mother has taught me versus my Caucasian family. And I think it gives me a very unique perspective to life. So that is something that makes me a little bit unique.
Okay, that's great. And then I have another question for you. What would be your dream job?
So that's a great question. And before I get into that, I will like to explain what brought me there. So my mom immigrated here from Hong Kong, and she learned the language pretty quickly, but there still, of course, was language barriers. And that unfortunately really made a problem when she had an ovarian fibroid, which is a benign tumor for those who are not in the healthcare industry. So because of that tumor, and it was just me and her at the time, it was very hard on our family. She had to experience a lot of pain, a lot of suffering, not only in physical, but in terms of socially and the patient care she received. She lacked respect, integrity, and the doctors, in firefighters, first responders, everyone that she and I had to interact at an early age, were just not giving her the proper patient care she deserves as a citizen here, even though she immigrated here. So that really planted the seed within me that I wanted to go into healthcare, and I wanted to specifically earn the title as a doctor so I can be my own physician, have my own patients, and integrate that care back into the community. So as someone who also struggled with reproductive health problems, I went to UC Berkeley, where I earned my degree in biology, and I had many clinical and educational roles that showed me firsthand the different aspects behind the lack of patient care and lack of immigrant care, specifically both for Asian Americans and for women. So that has really driven me to my dream job that I'm working towards right now. I'm studying for the MCAT. Yesterday I did a full blank test, and that was exhausting. So I'm currently working towards my medical school goals to pursue my dream job of being my own physician that fights for immigrant care.
That's great. And Judge Megan, do you have a question?
So what made you want to join Miss Asian Global?
Yeah, that's a great question. Of course, we'd all love to know. So I joined Miss Asian Global because I previously, in 2018, I had the honor of being Miss Tsingtao. Miss Tsingtao is a local Chinese pageant, and within that pageant, I had the opportunity to connect not only with my pageant sisters, learn more about their Chinese background, but in the community service and all the community roles, I got to learn more about the Chinese community, my community, and one that I wanted to fight for. And hearing these stories, hearing the different barriers that everyone dealt with, really gave me a wider perspective and understanding of what was going on. So as much as I really appreciated that, and I can continue to grow within my Chinese community, I wanted to come here to MAG to learn more about Asian Americans in general, because there are so many different ethnicities and cultures within the term of Asian. So here at MAG, I hope to continue to broadcast my advocacy for immigrant healthcare and reproductive healthcare for women, while learning more about the beautiful, multifaceted aspects of being Asian.
I think Judge Diamond has something.
Tara, so you are on your path to becoming a doctor. That is quite heavy, and it sounds like you have a lot of exams. How will you handle having a title and continuing to get your degree as a doctor or becoming a doctor?
Yes, so being pre-med, you definitely have to plan everything out at least 10 years ahead. And I definitely made sure to apply to MAG this season, not only because it's great that it's virtual, but because once I finish my MCAT, hopefully in the next month, I will be able to concentrate on my gap year in gap 2 years actually, which is exactly the time of having the title of MAG. So I'll be able to concentrate on connecting with my community, doing community service, using social media as a platform to broadcast the advocacy and the resources that I want in healthcare.
1 minute left.
Judge Lan, do you have anything?
If you could be any planet in the galaxy, what planet would you be and why?
If I could be any planet, I would choose Mercury. And the reason why is because Mercury is closest to the sun, little astronomy recap. And the reason why I want to be the planet closest to the sun is because, long story short, I struggled with seasonal depression, and I still do. And so the sun is actually something very important to me and my dopamine receptors and keeping me happy. So Mercury gets all the sun that it needs. So that's why I would be the planet Mercury.
Pretty much, sorry, that's pretty much it.
Okay, I'm done. Thank you.
Good job. All right, we also have a very special guest here joining us to help us out with being a judge. Our very own Miss Asian America, Melanie Warhana, is here to help, and she, turn this thing off again. She is also going to be able to give, shut up! Okay, you know when the button is stuck and doesn't work anymore? Okay, so Melanie's also here perfectly timed as one of our queens for you to ask any questions you want and how to prep for it too. Melanie's also, can I tell them about your current?
Sure.
Melanie's about to go on to her next pageant, Miss World, right?
Yes, Miss World America.
Yeah. So she is now so I've been working a little bit in the behind the scenes to help her get ready for that. But she's here behind the scenes to help you guys get ready for Miss Asian Global. So we came in right when Tara was going through her mock interview, which I thought was done really. By the way,
Good job.
yeah, great job. And I think you asked you that question about like the whole planet, which I thought was a perfect opportunity. By the way, that you said Mercury, which was great. But the other thing is Mercury's sign is the Caudicus. I think I'm saying that right, which is the medical symbol.
You know, now I will use that if they ask me that question.
So I'm all like, oh, perfect. She's going to talk about the Caudicus, but then you didn't. So.
Kansas, you think I was a biology major, okay? Not an astronomy major.
I was a bio major too.
Okay, well, you know everything, so I
do not. I do not. But yeah, if they ask you that question, Mercury, Caudicus, Mercury's also the god of healers, by the way.
The god of what? Healers?
The god of healers and messengers. And speed. That's what Mercury is. So perfect for the planet.
Wow. Now I know. That's
If you're into astrology, it's the sign of communication.
It is, exactly. He's the god of messengers.
I just feel like right now, Tara, you're having one of those the more you know moments with everyone telling you.
The little rainbow. More you know.
Yeah.
Like, you guys, I was really, but when she first asked, I was about to say Saturn because it's so pretty. Like, that was about all I came to my mind. I don't know how I did that.
Okay, feedback for Tara. Any feedback at all?
Can we just give positive feedback?
Give any feedback you want to, yes. Yeah, Kathy wanted to say something, right, Kathy?
Yes, so I was looking at, I'm not sure if your eye contact was staring at something else, but I've noticed like you were staring like not really at the camera, so it was kind of distracting. Well, not distracting, but I just felt like you weren't talking to me.
Okay,
so,
yeah.
But everything else was good.
Awesome.
Yeah, I keep forgetting because on my iPad, all you guys are over here.
Yeah.
So I'm like looking at you guys, but I'm gonna make a bright red post-it note. Just look at the camera.
Awesome. Any other feedback for Tara?
You were so funny in that last one. I loved it. Like you did an awesome job as always, but your humor and your laid backness and you're so effortless in front of the camera when you're having a conversation with the judges. Just keep doing more of that.
Thank you.
Any more feedback for Tara?
Loved it. Great personality. It was good. It was really good.
Thank you.
Awesome. And any more? Oh, by the way, in case you guys don't know, Diamond actually knows sign language, and her foster family that she lives with happens to be deaf, so she actually knows how to sign to them, like to communicate, which is actually pretty cool.
Yeah. She doesn't even have to mute herself. She could just.
Sign. I guess they can also read lips too, but it's pretty cool. Okay. Oh, and you guys see that little sign back there, a little design back there in Melanie's little window? That is part of her costume that she wore during this Asian Global. So that's what was basically on the back of her as it came behind her like this crazy aura that was behind her while she's wearing her ethnic costume. So I'm glad to see that.
So cool.
All these fun facts. Okay, any more feedback for Tara? No? All right, great job. Okay, so I don't think I have any feedback for you either, Tara. Good job overall. Just remember, Mercury, God of Healer, Messenger, Communication, Speed, Swiftness, okay? I was all like, yes, she picked the right God. Wait, why did she say not say that? But otherwise, great job. Okay, the next person we have is Lan. So Lan, no, wait, we just finished Lan. Sorry, we had Diamond. Diamond, you're next.
It's me.
Yes,
It's me.
you, Diamond. Melanie, would you like to be our head judge?
It's a special.
So you get to ask the very first question, and as soon as you ask the first question, I will start. So we're doing 6 minutes, just for the practice. Even though the real thing is 10 minutes, but just for this practice is 6 minutes. So as soon as you ask the first question to Diamond, I start a timer, and then you can start randomly picking all the other girls are judges. You can randomly start picking them as they raise their hands or whatever. Okay, or just call them anyways. All right. So Melanie, you are. I'll keep you out of the way. Melanie, as soon as you start asking the first question, I start a timer.
All right. Diamond, what is the one most defining moment in your life and how has that changed you?
I'd say the most defining moment happened when I was around 21, 22 years old, and I was graduating from Cal Poly with my bachelor's in science, and I had no idea what I was going to do afterwards. But I knew that if I pursued a higher degree, that I might have more opportunities open up for me. So the most defining moment was actually me walking down the hallway, stressed about what I was going to do with my life, and I stepped on a pamphlet on the ground, which I think someone tried to throw away, and I picked it up, and it happened to be a master's program where you study abroad in China, and I just knew that that was a calling, a sign of some sort for me to, yes, go on, further my education, live abroad, gain more experiences, have more opportunities. So that was definitely the most defining moment for me.
Melanie, and you can call anyone else you want to, or anyone.
Oh, sorry. Let's see, who is up here? Megan.
Hey, Diamond. What made you want to join Miss Asian Global?
Thank you for asking. So I'd like to give a little bit of background. When I was in college, and actually when I was a young girl too, the only exposure I had to pageants was what I saw in media. So it was all about beauty, it was all about stage. The girls were a little bit catty behind scene. It was only what I saw in the media. However, when I went on to my master's program, one of the gals in my cohort ended up participating in Miss Asian Global. And since I knew her, I was able to ask questions and really see the behind the scenes from her experience. And I thought, wow, that is totally not what I expected. That's amazing. It sounds so professional and a lot of development and a lot of personal growth. So that was one experience I saw from Miss Asian Global. I had another friend participate in Miss Thailand, and I asked her about her experience in a pageant, and she had very similar answers. The beauty pageant itself was partially beauty, but also a lot of personal growth, a lot of challenges, a lot of professional development. So when I was asked, or when I was approached to participate in Miss Asian Global, I thought, what a great experience for me, because I need the professional growth and I want the professional growth. So I decided to join Miss Asian Global for these reasons.
Next person to call. Up to you, Melanie. Call who you want to call. Raise your hands.
I didn't know it was me picking every time. Kim.
Diamond, if you could go back in time and live in any era within the past 100 years, where would you go? Or the past decades, where would you go?
Oh gosh, I would go back into the 40s and 50s, and not for a good reason. I actually would like to go back and see what my grandparents experienced. So my grandfather was sent into an internment camp for Japanese citizens, Japanese American citizens, and I never had the chance to really talk to him about it and to get his experience. It's only what I've heard from other family members because he's unfortunately passed away. So if I could go back into any era, I would like to go back and really see what my grandparents had to undergo and the challenges and struggles and how they overcame it and how they shared their love and their joy for their family and for striving through hard times. So I would definitely choose the 40s or 50s for this reason.
Tara.
Diamond, who is a role model in your life?
Definitely my older sister. She is 10 years older than me, and she paved the way in our family between us. She has a lot of life experience on me, and she was, because we're so close and because we're sisters, she never held back on the honest truth of the world. And she always inspired me to go forth and to challenge myself and to educate myself on what's happening. And if I was in the wrong or if I didn't know what was happening, she would call me out. And I think that that's really important to have someone to challenge you in these ways. And it's actually her that makes me want to challenge others and to educate others and to help others grow themselves and have their own personal growth.
Lan.
Diamond, what sister would you say shouldn't win this pageant?
Well, I don't really like this question because I think every sister in this pageant has their own unique qualities and characteristics, and I'm sure you have all heard their mission statements. Every single one of them is powerful, and every single one of them deserves a platform and a megaphone to have their mission told to everyone and to help have and to have the support behind their mission statement. I really dislike this question because I don't believe that anyone doesn't deserve to win. Miss Asian Global is about growth and beauty and friendships and bonds. So yeah, I think everyone deserves a chance to win.
Excellent and perfect timing. All right, well
I'm
done.
the queen of curveballs today.
I know, I love it. This is exactly what you guys got prepped for. So, feedback for Diamond, please.
First thing I would say is don't dismiss your answer before you go into it. So you started out the one about your grandfather by saying, this isn't really a good reason, and I was like, oh my gosh, what is she going to tell me? So just don't like set up any pretenses before, otherwise you're planting like a seed in the judge's mind for like what their reaction should be. Because I thought it was a great answer, and I thought that's a very good reason. You could also maybe add on to that and embellish a bit by saying that, like you want to get more in touch with your culture or something like that as well. Mainly what I got from that, from what I can remember, is that you want to just go back and see like what it was like to just see how his life lived. And you said that one a couple of times, but if you embellish upon that and be like the reason why you want to go back and see that, I think you have a really strong answer. Otherwise, I thought you did great.
Thank you.
Any more feedback for Diamond? Tara?
I liked how like even if you like had a mistake, you wouldn't be like you just like excuse me, and you just like kept going, and like your hand motion, just like the performance, A+.
Excellent. Any more comments for Diamond?
I don't know if this is the right thing to say, but I think you spent a lot of time and energy in that last question telling us how much you hated it. And sometimes like the judge might think, oh, this is a brilliant question. Like it's my question. And I know that it's not always like a bad thing to be a contrarian, but I think you go, that's an interesting question, and then go straight into your answer versus like coming back and saying like, I hated it or I really don't like it so much.
Yeah, that's a good safer thing to play. Yeah, I think Olivia, just if you want to just play it safe, you say, well, the way I would interpret this question and this way I would answer it would be this way. Right. And And yeah, the judge may be throwing you a curveball like Lan was to say, I'm gonna throw her a little pit ball here and see how she digs her way out of this. Or she's just gonna be basically very graceful with me and respectful and still answer in the way that she believes. Right. But otherwise, yeah, good feedback, Olivia. Any more feedback from anyone? No? All right, great job again, Diamond, well done. Okay, now, I do believe it is Kathy's turn. Kathy, you ready?
Yes, of course.
Awesome. Let's see, who has not had a chance to be, okay, Diamond, you want to be head judge? All right, Diamond, you be head judge. 6-minute timer. And as soon as you ask the first question, timer gets hit.
Hello, Kathy. Welcome on in today. I will go ahead and start off by asking you, you are going to a deserted island and you can only bring one thing with you. What is it and why?
I would bring water because not only do I need to stay hydrated, but I know water is going to be good for my skin and my body. And I drink water pretty much every single day. I drink so much, and I feel like that is the one essential thing that I would definitely bring if I was on a deserted island.
Thank you, Kathy. Judge Melanie.
Sorry, what?
Question for Kathy, Delegate Kathy.
Oh, yes, sorry, my bad. I was totally not paying attention. Let's see. My question is, if you could be any noodle, what noodle would you be and why?
I would have to be a ramen noodle because funny thing was I never really liked ramen because it was always salty, but most recently I fell in love with ramen again, and I think it has a good balance between salty and a little bit of like sweet, and you could also add different type of flavors in it. And for me, I think that would be a noodle that I would definitely eat nowadays because I first didn't like it, but now I obviously like eating it.
Thank you. Judge Tara?
So tell us why you're here.
I am here because I have a voice or I have a message that I want to spread not only through this organization, but through the community and hopefully through I am a aspiring entrepreneur and founder of my first digital magazine, PetiteGirls.com, and I want to be a voice for petite women. I know that we are not as represented in the fashion, beauty, and entertainment industry, and I'm so passionate to lead my community of petite women and to prove that just because we're under 5'4", that doesn't mean that we can't be in these certain industries. And so I want to make a change and I want to make an impact. And I know that this organization will definitely stand by me. So that is why I'm here.
Thank you. Judge Lan?
What have you done so far? I know you have your you're an aspiring entrepreneur and you want to be a representative for petite women, but what impact have you done thus far for petite women besides starting a company?
Mm-hmm. So I started off in 2017 trying to create a clothing brand for petite women because I was a manager at a retail clothing store that sold petite clothing, and I ran into so many petite women, and they would share with me how difficult it is to find things that fit them. So it inspired me to create a clothing brand, but specifically, but this year I decided to put that on a pause, and I wanted to start a community first because I wanted to connect with petite women more on a personal level, just to see what they really need and what they are really looking for in sense of clothing. And so what I did was create a community on my Facebook page, and I have over 500 petite women in my community right now. And every step of the way, I'm determined to just inspire them and motivate them to be proud of their height and be proud of their frame. And I'm just loving it, and I hope that I can continue being a voice for them.
Thank you. Judge Kim.
If you can be any color of the rainbow, what would you be?
Oh, wow.
I would say that's a good question. I think I would choose green, even though green is not really my favorite color, but on the rainbow, I would definitely define myself as the color green. And because I love staying healthy, and I love making sure that whatever I eat is good for my mind, body, and soul. And I've struggled with acne for so many years, and ever since I changed my diet around, my skin has tremendously changed. And so eating healthy is just part of my routine now. And so I think green definitely represents my diet and my lifestyle right now.
Thank you, Kathy. In the last 30 seconds, could you give one piece of advice to young women?
One piece of advice I would give to young women is you are enough. You don't need to change. You don't need to compare yourself. I was somebody that constantly compared myself and thought I wasn't enough, and I became very depressed. And throughout the years, I've overcame it by finding my outlet through fashion. And so I just want young women and young girls to know that they don't have to try so hard to be somebody else. They are enough just the way that they are.
And that's all the time we have. So thank you. Well done. Good job. Feedback for Kathy, please.
Go ahead.
I think the noodle question, that threw me off.
The noodle question?
Yeah,
I was going to comment on that. So I thought that your first two questions were definitely curveball questions. They were super random. The noodle question, in the nicest way possible, this is totally in the nicest way possible, I thought that it was a waste of your interview time with your answer. I thought that either you could have just quickly answered it and been like, next question, or you could have tried to turn it into something that was a bit more meaningful. All I remember from it was that you thought ramen was salty.
You could do some really creative stuff with that question. Like if they ask you, ramen is a great answer, but you could be like, ramen is my favorite noodle because it's versatile. It's the currency used in prisons. It's kept college students alive for decades. It has a shelf life that can challenge Twinkies, right? So you could have so much fun with a question like that, and just be creative.
Yeah, definitely. And I thought that my first question, it might just because I asked it, so I was thinking of a certain answer myself. I thought that my first question actually gave you the opportunity to explain like how you overcome challenges, or what inspires you, or if you were put in a hardship, what would you choose in your decision making. That was sort of what I was thinking in my mindset for the island question. But again, just something I would think about is your answer should help you. Does that make sense? It's not just information, it's helping you, it's helping the judges and their opinion on you.
Yeah, like anything they ask you, what noodle, what boba you want to be, anything like that, use that as an advantage to really be creative. Yeah. You had something to say, Tara?
Yeah, just like going off that, I feel like something that works for me, and like you can take it with a grain of salt. If I find I don't know an answer, instead of like, because I found you tried to answer and then you would get kind of lost and then like try again. So just like pause. You don't have to use filler words, but because a pause is actually like quite powerful sometimes, because we have so much conversation. And I don't know if you notice, like politicians, they'll like pause and then you like talk, and it just is more powerful instead of like showing you're obviously like thrown by the question, because like they are hard questions. So like if you ever find yourself in that situation, I recommend like pausing, but of course take it with a grain of salt, do Do you?
Any more feedback for Kathy?
Context on the noodle question is that was an actual question for one of my pageant sisters
It
in
was.
their actual interview. So
Yep.
she was also totally thrown by it. And it's okay to react as well if you're just like, oh my God, what? Like to just be like, to just laugh a little, you know, like find the humor in it. And that also gives you some time to think about it as well.
Yeah, that was actually, I believe, I can't remember, I think I was asked to Nicole.
I think Josie.
Josie? Okay.
Yeah.
I can't remember one of them, Josie or Nicole, but yeah, it was, I remember when they asked the question, I remember looking over at one of the person assistant, and I was like, did they just fucking ask the noodle question? So yeah, that shit can happen. It's they can ask you anything they want to, and I thought that was a weird question, but it can come up, and you can totally be creative with it. Any more feedback for Kathy? Plan?
I feel like anytime that you have like a mishap or like you mess up a little bit, it's very obvious. Like if you mispronounce a word or if you lose your train of thought, it's very obvious that you messed up. I don't know what you want to do with that information, but I just feel like maybe you want to, you know, work on, you know, because we are going to have those moments. I think if you know, if that happens, kind of like, you know, laugh it off or just kind of go about it a little bit more smoothly, or just kind of say, oh, excuse me, you know, and then like move forward with it. But just from what I remember from, you know, the 6 minutes is that anytime that, you know, you just were clueless or you mispronounced a word, it was just very blatantly on screen. So I would just be aware of that because it could be distracting.
Cool. Any more feedback? Great. This is all wonderful. This is all going to make you guys stronger. Like I said, make all your mistakes here and be superstars on Saturday. So I think everyone is gone. I'm going to ask, Melanie, would you like to be interviewed so you can show them how a veteran does it?
No.
Yes.
Oh my God. Okay, guys, I am so rusty. I had my like state interview today and I was just like, it was so bad. Let me tell you what happened. So like they do this thing where they put you in a Zoom waiting room, right? And then like you have to also join with your audio. And for whatever reason, my computer just makes me press the button before I get to do so. But like I haven't used this laptop for Zoom before. So I'm like hovering over it like this. They like pop me in front of all the judges. And I was like,
yeah,
it was so awkward. Yeah. But yeah,
we're not gonna do that. Yeah, apparently they didn't give her any warning that they were gonna like pop her into the. You know, we're gonna actually have a waiting room for you guys, and Aranthi's gonna be there, and I'm gonna message her. And I'll be like, Aranthi, get them ready, and she's like, okay, Lan, you're up in 3, 2, and then you'll pop.
Yeah, I was literally just like in a blank room by myself, and then suddenly I was in front of everybody, and I was like.
No. We'll be much more supportive. You want to practice for your other interview with these girls, Melanie? It'll be good.
How about we do this one later?
You sure?
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm good.
Okay.
Thanks.
Now,
if anyone has any questions, though, we can go over that.
Ask Melanie any questions about her journey, you know, getting to the crown too.
Or just like general tips
or
and whatnot, you know.
Melanie, can you give us any advice of just like seeing what works in the Q&A and also in the interview? Because I feel like we've all been giving each other feedback. No offense, I love you guys, but it's literally like the blind leading the blind. Like none of us have won the title yet. So we don't know, like what is it that really makes an answer or an interview memorable?
Honestly, this would also be good for Francis' answer because he's literally watched every single interview. So Francis has much more wealth of knowledge than I do. But I don't know. I feel like the advice I would give is truly the stuff you've heard already, which is just, I'd say first with your interview, just like, don't try to be someone else. Like, I think I've heard some people are like, oh, I've been getting advice to do more of this or more of that, or like, well, I'm worried about this person because they're like, you know, this or this and whatever. It's like, don't compare yourself because pageants and especially the MAG system are about being able to showcase your best self. And like, we truly mean that. Like the judges can tell if you're authentic. The judges will be coming from all kinds of like random backgrounds. Like we had like movie stars and like restaurant owners and like past pageant winners and stuff like that. So just like but the thing is, like, that's all tied in with these people is that they're very accomplished and they know what authenticity looks like. So if you're giving an answer that you think they want to hear, they're not gonna like take it well, like no matter what, even if it sounds like the perfect answer, you know. So I'd say that just being authentically you is going to be some of the best advice I can give. Obviously, don't say don't use filler words. Try to knock that out of your vocabulary before you get to that point. And the things that you were saying about just taking a pause, if your mind goes blank or you lose your train of thought, just take a dramatic pause and then continue. The other thing too is with Q&A is to just keep a fairly structured format in your mind of how you would go about answering the question. So my advice would be, you know, take a second to think about it. Don't just start going because like the Q&A is like a one-shot type of thing. Like the interview, you have plenty of questions to go through that will leave the impression, but then the Q&A is just, again, one time. So take a second to think about the question, where you want it to go, how you could possibly tie that into your own personal life and experiences, even better if it has to do with your platform. Sometimes you're on stage and like absolutely nothing about your platform comes out, or not on stage, but sometimes you're on a video call and you're doing Q&A and absolutely nothing about your platform comes out. But you know, what you want to just focus on is making sure that it allows the audience to get to know a little bit more about yourself. So have a memorable story, leave them with feeling some type of emotion at the end of your answers, and be yourself.
Thank you.
Any more questions for Melanie? Yes, Kim. Sorry, yes, Megan.
What is something that you would tell yourself the first time you did the pageant?
Ooh, great question. Probably everything I just told you. My first time doing MAG in 2018, I think I told somebody about this. I was trying to be who I thought that the pageant wanted me to be. If you can see, my hair is blonde now. And in 2018, I was like, they probably want a girl who has like dark, classic Asian girl look, you know? And I was just like, not really being myself. Like, I picked a dress that I liked, but I thought maybe like, oh, this will bring the most glam and the most this, most that. And obviously not relevant this year, but the things I was doing, the answers I was giving, it was things that I thought they might want to hear. And I think that was my biggest downfall. So between 2018 to 2019's pageant, the biggest difference that I made, and maybe Francis can attest to this as well, is that I really grew to be more confident in myself and just be like, you know what, you're kind of quirky and weird sometimes and like really bubbly. And sometimes that comes across as being like hectic, but that's just me. Like that's my energy. And I have to just embrace that and just, you know, speak with conviction. And, you know, if you believe in everything that you are saying, then everyone else will too. So that's advice I would have given myself.
That's great advice.
Diamond?
Could you tell us about what some of your interview questions were?
Yeah. So my interview was a little bit different just because we did have that 1 minute of like having a little narrative intro in the beginning, but I believe now you guys are just diving right into questions. So the way that my interview had been set up was that I gave a little narrative about myself, like, hey, like this is my life, like a couple of things here and there that led me to my platform, which is why this is so important. Ask me questions. And then they basically asked me questions about what I had just shared with them. So in your cases, I imagine they'd be asking you questions about what you've sent in. So anything on like the program book or like your application or whatever it is that Francis tells you to prepare on. And then besides that, I also got like random questions. Like I think there was like 30 seconds left. And this guy at the end was like, okay, what's your favorite holiday? Christmas, Easter, your birthday, da, 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 da. And it was just like so fast. And I was like, I like Christmas because I like spending time with my family. And then like time was up. So I don't remember 2018, honestly, too much. I remember one question that I really didn't like was like, I think like, if you could only have like one sport in the world or something, like what would it be? And I was like, I wasn't athletic at all around that time of my life. So I was just like, like sports or like something about like, I don't know, like what sports have you played or something. It was just very specific on something I hadn't done. So like in those situations, if it's something that one, you don't have knowledge about the topic, like two, it's like you don't do those things. You could just give an example or just your opinion on it. Like, oh, I have a best friend who does this, or, you know, I'm not extraordinarily familiar with that topic, but my opinion from what I understand is X, and just being able to talk about it in like more of a hypothetical way.
Good question.
If you could just pick like one thing that you find to be the most impactful thing, either that be physical appearance, content, intelligence, personality, authenticity, like what would you say is like the overarching, like if you just had to pick one thing, would you say would be the most impactful for a judge in your
Good
personal
question.
That's hard to say. Let's think. It's hard because they all are so important.
Right.
But I would say more so the confidence in which you deliver it. There's definitely the authenticity factor, like does she really know it? Does she really feel this way? So I'd say that sort of like overlaps a little bit, but I would say the way that you say it. So maybe like the eloquence you say about it, even if you have no freaking clue what they're talking about, just being able to have confidence in your answer as being your best answer and being able to really speak with conviction about whatever it is that you're saying.
So try to be as most like humanizing as possible, like being able to connect with the judges. And obviously the more confident you are, you're just able to portray all of those aspects all in one.
Yeah, because let's say they ask you, let's say like Judge 1 asks you a question and you and Judge 2 have like no freaking clue what they're asking about. But if you're able to persuade them and like at least leave them with some emotion or get them to start thinking about something controversial maybe that you have like a very strong opinion about or whatever the case it is, as long as you speak with that confidence and the conviction of like, yes, this is like exactly how I think of things. And it's obviously nice. Like, you're not like, okay, like screw whatever and like saying something bad about something, which obviously you all want to. But yeah, I would say that, in my opinion, at least, that would be the most important thing.
Awesome.
How are y'all feeling about it? Are you excited?
It hasn't hit me yet.
You're
I'll deal with it like 5 minutes before I like go on there. But yeah.
That's how I feel too. I'm like, oh, it's coming up.
Yeah. Well, it'll be over before you know it. And then like a month from now, you're like, oh my gosh, I missed like the workshops and everything. Like this is the fun part, like getting to know each other, stressing about the same thing. And like you're making good memories here. So
Awesome.
Was there, I guess, quick question was, for me was, so what kind of questions did they ask you today at your interview?
Oh yeah. So I turned in like an extremely thorough application and it asked me like what my platform was about, introduction of myself, like tell me about your family, et cetera, et cetera. So they mainly asked me about my platform though, because the pageant mainly centers around talking about like your service, like what you've done, like what you're doing, et cetera. So you have to be very, very specific about it and you got to know it like inside and out. So my platform is on just like advocating for mentorship, specifically with the goal of creating gender equality in leadership positions. So as a tech recruiter, like I have a lot to say about that because I'm seeing that every single day. I'm literally living that and seeing the inequality. So they asked me questions specifically like when was the time that you had to be brave? Like who is a mentor in your life that has really impacted you? And I said Francis, and he was happy to hear that. But other questions was just like, like tell us about like exactly what mentorship is for you and like how you're defining it because it's so broad. So I had to get really specific about it, give like different examples, and do my best to leave the judges with a positive impression of myself, my conviction, and my dedication to the platform. So those are some of the questions they asked. It was 10 minutes as well. So it was like, oh my gosh, time went by so fast, especially after I stared at them for 3 seconds at the beginning.
I do have one last question and I have to go after this, but do you feel like the judges with MAG is more concerned about what you have done or what you're going to do?
That's hard to say just because the judges are so different every single year.
Oh, that's right. You saw 2 years of it. So, yeah. What was the first? Well, how do you compare these 2 years as a delegate of the 2 judges sets that you experienced?
The judges are just hard to read. Like as a collective group, they're all such different people that you're going to get some people who are like, oh my God, you're like the best ever. And others are kind of like, you're not really my cup of tea. So you just have to, I mean, like that's the other thing to remember too, is like not every single judge is going to like love you and that's okay. You know, it's just a set of random people. We're just given a set of criteria. But I'm trying to think if I can answer that question. I think obviously, like, if you have done things that have been very impactful, definitely bring those up, because of the concrete examples of things you've already done to increase, you know, the whateverness of your platform. If you have big aspirations to do something, make sure that they are concrete, is what I would suggest. So you could be like, oh, I want to start a company of doing this. And it's like, or it's like, I want to do something like that, but it's like a really like a 10-year plan, you know? You can maybe talk about like my long-term goal is to do this, but like baby steps I'm taking right now is, baby steps, those words, but steps I'm taking right now to accomplish that is that I am doing X, Y, and Z, and be very specific about the action items that you're actually taking today that will lead you to that ultimate goal.
Love it. Well, thank you so much. I do have to go though. I'm visiting family, but I appreciate all of this, and I'll see you guys later. It's nice meeting you, Melanie.
Bye, Lan.
Bye, guys.
Bye, Lan.
See ya.
Anyone have any
I
more
have
questions?
another question.
Yes, we're here. We'll be here as long as you need with long as Melanie and you guys want to stay.
I want to know what your experience has been after the pageant finished. So you suddenly have this platform, this audience, and everything looking at you. What has your experience been with it? Just where I'm coming from, let me give a little background, was when we spoke to Gina, she gave us an example of how people were like, as Miss Asian Global, you should be aware of this topic and make a statement about this, and et cetera, et cetera. So I wonder for you, now that you have a platform, a megaphone, and all of this, what was your experience?
Great question. So half of our reign was spent in quarantine. So I'm sure like lots of things to talk about as well. To be totally honest, it's like, it really is just what you make of it. So it's, if you want to do a ton of things with it, if you want to go, sign yourself up for charity events and see if you can represent the Asian American Foundation there, do that and like make the most impact you can. If you are satisfied with the title and you don't want to do too much with it, or like you're, the rest of your life is just insane and for whatever reason you can't dedicate too much time to, being able to forward your platform and increase awareness of other social justice activities or things like that, I would say it really does depend on each person individually. MAG as an organization doesn't put a ton of pressure on you to do that, and I think that is good in a sense, because it allows you the independence to do things on your own, like literally anything that you want to do, pretty much, sort of, within reason. But yeah, I wouldn't say that there has been too much pressure in that regard. If it was like, in a sense of like feeling like negative pressure, like, oh my God, like I'm not doing enough. But it has been a nice platform for getting to connect people, being able to, like find new opportunities to reach out to people. I think at the same time too, it just depends on like what people's perspective of MAG. Like if you win like a specific queen title or something, because like a lot of people are not super familiar with the organization. So like, it's really case by case. I don't know if I answered your question. Did I answer your question? More or less. All right.
Yeah, we also have to play this by ear to see how COVID plays out too, right? But you guys, you get a 2-year reign, so we get a lot of leeway to work on that. But yeah, I would say we're definitely going to be recruiting all you guys for Imagine Talks, who Melanie spoke at it and also hosted it as well too. So that was really great to her to be there to work with us on that. But yeah, we will have a lot of events coming in, specifically like things like Imagine Talks. And yeah, we're just going to have to see how this plays out in terms of late 2021, early 2022. But like I said, we have a 2-year reign, so we get to play with that.
Can you elaborate on that? There's 2 years for the reign?
Yeah, you got.
How does that work?
Basically, this is one of the few times we've planned this. So whoever gets the title in 2020, August 29th, which will be happening in 2 weeks' time, that goes all the way through till the gala. So the gala of 2021 is when we crown you guys and the merit title winners. Merit title winners to be announced, right? And then you guys also get your like full coronation at the fashion show. But you get to retain your titles all the way till August 2022 because of the COVID year.
Mhm.
right? And so because this is robbing a lot of like public events, I guess let me ask you this, Melanie, what was your experience like in Miss Asian America prior to COVID outbreak?
And I remember so far away.
Time ago.
It was fun. I mean, it was just like, for the most part, we did a lot of like the external events. So like a lot of Chinatown events, like dinners, galas. The parades, there's lots of parades. I feel like there may not be so many parades next year, but it's okay. You got 2 years. And y'all who aren't around here, you're gonna have to fly back in for those because those are pretty fun. At least one parade.
Which parade would you say that they need to fly into? Because we do at least 3 major ones.
I would say at least the Chinese New Year one, because you're on TV. I'm like, hey, you're also gonna be freezing to death though, so be prepared. I was so cold. And then the Italian Heritage Parade. There's like so many people in North Beach. At least there was. But it was just like there's crowds and crowds of people outside, and they're all like so excited to like wave at you, and you're like, the worst feeling is waving at a crowd that is like, it's like videotaping you. It's like, it's like okay. But besides that, I mean, I don't know, because we were so busy with all of those things through like winter, I'd say, like, I feel like the spring and the summer was the time that I was really hoping to like spend more just like quality time with my sisters, but alas, here we are. But it was fun. I mean, I had a good time. And
did you have a favorite event?
The play-by-play event was really fun.
Oh,
but that's not.
Tell them what that is.
Oh, so how I actually got involved with all of this stuff is because I was a volunteer at this organization called Project by Project, which is essentially a bunch of like young adults, I guess, young professionals in the San Francisco Bay Area, and they get together. There's different chapters, LA, New York, etc. But they get together and put basically like a benefit tasting event on. So everything is from like super, super fancy restaurants. You come in, like the people pay like a specific ticket price. There's like silent auctions, like a whole bunch of things, but it's like this really grand event. There's so many people there. You probably run into a bunch of people, you know. But it's like, it's a lot of fun. And it's also great to volunteer. And if you're interested in that, I can connect you with people. But that was a really amazing event that Steph and I got to go to. And it was nice just being able to kind of like mingle, eat like tons of food, help promote places on our social media as well, like small businesses. So that was a really memorable night.
They specifically, so these tickets are usually in the hundreds of dollars to get into this event. And of course, they gave 3 free tickets, one for Melanie, one for Stephanie, and one for me because I'm usually the manager of these events with Miss Asian Global. But almost at every table, they wanted a picture. And also Plate-by-Plate wants that too for marketing. So every table you go to taste, they had to get a picture of Miss Asian Global, Miss Asian America behind the counter, and then they can eat, and then they move on and take the next picture. And it was the slowest moving that we ate. It was slow moving because everyone wanted a picture with them. And yeah, it was great because it was a great PR. And this is also something that Plate-by-Plate specifically wants Miss Asian Global, Miss Asian America at, because it's obviously a great marketing PR connection for them as well too. So that was, and I think we did that in the same day we had the Autumn Moon Festival in the morning, right?
Yeah, that was a busy.
Yeah,
we hung out at my apartment. That was fun.
Yeah, so a lot of times we'll have double events. So we always try to do that when you guys, especially for you guys out of town. When we try to like have, of course we can't do this because it all depends on the organizers themselves, but there'll be times when we have multiple events in one day, like something in the morning and then we get to rush and you guys change your outfits and put something on for the evening events. There have been days when we've had something in the morning, something in the afternoon, and something in the evening, like straight through. 3 different parts, and the girls are exhausted, but they are usually very well fed because everything is food because we're Asian.
But it's all just like somewhat greasy Chinese food, so your diet doesn't allow that. Just FYI. I've tried like every Chinese restaurant in Chinatown by this point, I think.
Oh yeah. You will be a connoisseur of Chinatown cuisine. Yeah, everyone wants the queens to be there for a photo shoot of some sort.
Quick question. What does if, let's say, the possibility that Diamond or I become part of the court, like what does our year look like being so far away
Good.
from?
Yeah.
Oh, that all depends again on COVID. But let's just say, for argument's sake, that COVID is more or less tapered out, and we're starting to approach normality again. So, and Melanie can attest to this. I can only like really give you guys the calendar as they give us to us, like Miss Asian Global, right? So a lot of times I can't really tell you, okay, here's your entire year calendar. I try to, but a lot of times those organizations, they'll be working on their own calendar, and they're like, oh, okay, we have, and it's something like the Olympic Club. The Olympic Club is a fundraiser where it's the really successful small businesses of the Bay Area. They come and they rent out this amazing country club. And the dinner plates are about maybe $500 a place. Of course, the Miss Asian Global Corp members who are invited get to come in for free, but they ask you guys to help them sell raffle tickets to raise even more money during that time. But then, it's a nice dinner. But they usually won't tell us that maybe until a month or so, if we're lucky, a month or so beforehand. So a month or so, between 4 to 3 weeks, I'll pop it up there. And just like I have with our, our events on Google Calendar, you guys write down yes or no on it. Sometimes I'll say, hey, first 5 girls to say yes gets to go in there. Or sometimes I'll say, hey, this is exclusive. They requested specifically Miss Asian Global and Miss Asian America only. Or sometimes only Miss Asian Global. But usually it's the first 2 queens if they have very, very, very tight spots. Sometimes it's only the court members, the core courts of Miss Asian Global to Third Princess. And sometimes they're like, we just want all the extended court in there as well too. Miss Asian Global all the way to all the honorary titles. I would say 70% to 80% are the extended courts. They want as many of the court members there. But I will specify. So if it's something that's very specific, and especially for someone like Diamond or Olivia, as soon as they tell me, and if say one of you guys wear it because you guys are out of town, I'll say, hey, can you guys make it this date? If not, I'm going to default down and just go down the row. First princess, second princess, third princess. Then I'll just put it out there and say, okay, merit title holders, first come, first serve. Yeah.
Diamond, would you come back for the gala?
Yeah.
Okay, yes.
I was telling Francis that I don't know how everyone's planning the gala, but I would really love if they kept in mind that as a U.S. citizen, I can indeed come back to the States whenever I want, but I wouldn't be able to return back to Australia.
I was going to say, can you get back to Australia if you leave?
Yeah, so I wouldn't be able to return back to Australia because I don't have a residence permit here. I'm just on a special type of visa. So I was telling Francis that I don't know how they're planning the gala or for what date, but if they can just push it as far back as possible so that way there's more opportunity that the US borders and Australian borders will open back up so I can come back.
We're looking at August right now, and that is hopeful that we'll more or less be kind of out of the woods by then, we hope. 2021, we hope.
You guys should apply to like credit cards for flying programs. If you don't have already, you're gonna rack up some mileage.
Oh my gosh. So we have Qantas. I don't know if you guys have ever flown with Qantas Australia. They have the best seats. Even if you're economy, you have so much space, so much like padding on your necks. And all of our credit cards here in Australia and our grocery cards are linked up to our Qantas points. So one time I flew first class from the US to Australia. I had my own pod. I like reclined back. I slept for 7 hours straight. I had champagne. I had 2 dinners. One was like a steak with mashed potatoes and then like a pumpkin soup. It was amazing. But it was like 3 years worth of saving up points to get that upgrade.
Still, that's so cool.
Worth it. Totally worth it. Especially from Australia.
Mm-hmm.
Right? If you're going to do my first class, might as well do it all the way.
Oh yeah.
Sorry guys, I just realized the time. I've got to run. But
no worries.
I love you all. Thank you, Melanie, for coming in and sharing your wisdom with us. And I hope to see you guys all this week before Saturday.
We'll see you guys hopefully before Saturday. Okay.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye, Olivia.
Bye, Olivia.
Bye.
Any more questions for anyone, myself or Melanie, or anything at all? Yeah. Melanie, do you have anything, any last words of wisdom?
Nope. If you guys have any specific questions on anything, if you want like help picking out an outfit, or you want to like take your platform through another run through, mock interview, Q&A practice, I promise I won't ask the noodle question again. Just let me know. I have some time this week after 5 p.m. PST. So if you need anything, let me know.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, if that's it, then I'm going to stop recording.